Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the pregame. This is our very first episode ever. So it's going to be probably terrible. But we're trying it out.
So, what brings us here today? Why are we here? Why did we start this? What is this podcast about?
Well, we wanted to be extremely original and start a podcast. Because, I think we're the first people in this space to do this. So we're just ahead of the curve on that. But essentially, we are homeless.
We are homeless.
We don't have homes, but we're not houseless. So essentially, we are living in a different city every month. And we've been doing this for the last year and a half. And we're going to just drink while we talk about the trials and tribulations of this nomad lifestyle, which is extremely millennial.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's why we're also not the first at this point, because we've been doing this a year and a half. So I know there's a lot of other people that are probably now doing this.
But I do want to say, we're not influencers.
No.
We're not super rich. We're just normal.
Spiritually, I'm so wealthy.
Emotionally.
Oh my God. But we're not. We're normal people.
But I just want people to know that it's possible.
Yes.
And they can do it. And I think that's what we're really going to touch on too. Like,
for sure.
We'll take you guys through the journey, but also like how we did it, how you can do it. Maybe you don't want to do it after listening to this podcast, but I hope we inspire you.
What an influencer type thing to say. Layla, you're crushing it right now. Oh my God. I want your life. You look so happy.
All right. So to get this life, how did we even start this idea?
Yeah. How did this journey begin? I feel like...
With you.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It was all me. You heard it first. This is recorded,
no, I
baby.
didn't say that.
You did.
I did not
roll
say
it
that.
back. Clip it. Anyway. First I got to say, right, this stat that's weird is 90% of people live within 13 miles of their mother.
Which is so crazy when you told me. Still crazy.
It's crazy, but is it that crazy? Because everyone loves their mom.
I get it, but
Most
that's
people love
really
their mom.
crazy. 13 miles.
It's not their dad, it's their mom.
Yeah.
But generally, if you move outside of that radius, it's probably because of work of some sort or a passion, which is also work that you're trying to change, right? So we both met in Los Angeles, California. So this story really kind of starts in LA, right? So it was 2020, right?
Rewind.
Obviously.
No, 29.
No, it was 2020.
2020.
Yeah. Because we were
pandemic,
right.
COVID.
Yeah, it was pandemic. Because pandemic.
The world is ending.
The world was ending, but it was the beginning of a new era. It did end. The world did end. Because it did offer this whole new world that we're living in.
So
it was COVID. We were
living in LA and
yeah, exactly.
COVID started, right? So forced a lot of jobs to become remote.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Right.
But then some, like our jobs at the time, decided they were gonna just be remote.
Move indefinitely to remote because literally, I mean, obviously every single employee was like, I don't like driving it 45 minutes to an office every single day. So they let us be remote, right? Okay. So we were doing that. And at the time we still weren't necessarily thinking about a nomad lifestyle. All I knew was I hate Los Angeles and I got to get out of here. And then this is an opportunity to still have a job and move from LA.
Before that, I think, just to give a little backstory, you had been in LA for 6 years. You despise that place.
Yeah.
Now you're working remote for 6+ months. You're like, wait, maybe I want to move out. Like,
not maybe.
I finally don't have to be here to work. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be in the location or in the city to work. So I feel like that's like what kind of started the idea. And then you talked to me. And then it was a whole dramatic thing because I was like, are we going to break up? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Where are you going to move? Atlanta, which is where you're from. Like, that's so across the country, you know?
America is the world. Let's be real. Come on.
So big.
USA.
So that's kind of where we were. Like, are we going to be long distance? Are we going to break up? What's going to happen? And then we went on that walk, dropped off the ballot.
The darkest part of the night is before the dawn.
Yeah,
as they say.
So we thought, it was over. But
it was very shaky times.
Try, yeah.
We don't know.
We both hate long distance, so it was not looking good.
Right. But this beautiful opportunity, because we both also, we worked at the same job at the time. Mm-hmm. And so we both were remote. So what I was pitching to her, I knew was capable. Yeah, it was always like, I hated how it was like, jobs are always usually tied to a city. So it's like, you first is like, you got to figure out what you want to do with your life. And then what you want to do with your life usually will tie you to a location, because what you want to do has to be done in that city. So it's like, I'm a film guy. So it's like, you got to go to LA. So it's like, those things are usually tied, but I always was like, what if the idea of the concept of like, what if I could do what I wanted to do, but also live anywhere I wanted to live? Right. And those usually that doesn't happen.
Or didn't used to.
They didn't used to,
maybe
right.
Maybe for Gen Z now, they can't even wrap their heads around maybe. But for us, it was like, what has the most opportunities for me to get a job? Like that's right. Especially for something, like film, entertainment.
Whatever. Or fashion, kind of you go to New York, or, incest, you come back down to Georgia. No, I'm kidding. Whatever. So that's kind of where the first, like, it was just like a dream. And then it was like, holy shit. It's like, what do they say when it's like convenience? Oh my God, what is it? Convenience meets opportunity equals fate. Ooh. Have you heard of that?
No, but I want to tattoo it on my butt cheek.
Just one of them. That's a long phrase. You better be small font.
I couldn't think of another place. I don't know.
You're like, where is it that's not shown anywhere? I like it, but I'm not going to show anybody.
I'm still in corporate America.
Such a sweetheart. Anyway, so... And then it was like, I have this person that I can totally do this with, because she's also, you are very, salivate over traveling. You just want to fucking eat that shit.
Turns me on.
For real. You would cheat on me with traveling if you could. if that was possible. Person? Oh, absolutely. Oh, it'd be horrendous.
Yeah. I love it. And it just like motivates me. It's kind of like, work and life is cool, but like, where are we going next?
Right. So we talked about it. It was one of those things that was like, this is so blindingly obvious. Why would we not do this? And you were on board. Obviously, I was on board. And our journey began.
Yeah.
At the end of 2020, essentially.
Yeah. So logistically, what happened was, you officially moved out of LA end of 2020. And I was like, well, I'm going to stay in LA because, you've been here for 6 years. I've been here for like barely 2, I want 1 more year.
Right.
So we were kind of like figuring it out. Like, okay, I'm on LA all the way on the West Coast, and he's going to be in Atlanta technically in the East Coast. So like, how do we pick the places? Like, we knew we didn't want to go more than a month with quote unquote being long distance and not seeing each other, right? So the goal was like, every other month we're going to live in a new city together and we'll meet there. And then we go back to our respective places. Like, I go back to LA, you go back to Atlanta.
As like a rest break.
Right. You got a month off.
Right. So it was like every other month, and we were kind of arguing about this. I was like, I don't think it was ever 4 weeks. I'm pretty sure they were like mostly 3 weeks or even a little less. Correct. I'm pretty sure.
Do you not remember the struggles of long distance?
I just remember that time was never that long. I was like, I could use no. This is so short. I'm already seeing her again. God damn it! No,
no. Quick. Receipts.
Yeah, I know you will after this, and she's gonna.
I miss you so much.
But no. So that's kind of how it was. It was long distance, but not at all.
Yeah, and I feel like with that, we also. We're like, let's just make a list of cities. Like, I feel like people always ask us, like, but how did you guys pick where you went? So this was last year. We've been doing it for a year and a half, like you said. So all of last year is when we did the every other month thing.
Right.
So, how did we do it? I feel like I don't have an eloquent answer.
Well, it was... No, you started. I think you hit it. Where it was basically, it's kind of like, what cities do you like? And what cities do you want to visit? But it's like obviously for a little bit longer. So we kind of started there, and we were also like trying to figure out. So, she's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. So it's kind of like just trying to figure out like geographically what makes sense. how we can meet up. So that's where we kind of started. It was like, just like, where would we want to go? What do we want to check out? Right. And so the bigger picture idea is like where would we ultimately want to live? Mm-hmm. And it's like, and this is our perfect time to like try these places out.
Yeah. Which I think as millennials of where we want to live, we ended up picking very millennial cities. So we picked, last year we did Portland, Austin, Atlanta, Denver, Chicago, and then we went international to Costa Rica. But I feel like all the US cities are so millennial. And like we were kind of trying them out, you know, like, do we see a future here?
Yeah. So also FYI, we stuck to like America, because one, America is huge. It is so big. It is geographically and culturally completely different in a lot of different parts of America. Okay, so it's like I haven't even seen all of the country that I fucking live in. So might as well check it out. Also, two, this is a brand new thing we're trying out. I don't want to go international. I don't know how to even speak, the money, Wi-Fi, all that shit. Like, I don't want to start with like a million extra problems that I'm like, I don't even know how to like begin to deal with this.
That's a big endeavor.
Yeah, so we were like, because originally we were like, let's do Mexico.
Yeah.
Let's go, you're in LA, let's go right down into it. Right. Let's try it out. And thank God we didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a lot.
We started off right. But yeah, I don't know. It was fairly easy to make the list.
Yeah. And it was COVID still. I mean, it was not even 2021 yet. So no one was vaccinated. No one was anything. Like, it was still pretty shut down. So we're like, let's just,
start slow.
Yeah, exactly.
But another big important aspect of it is like, all right, we know how we're doing it. We know where we're going. How do we actually do this? You know, like, can we afford this?
Right.
Can people afford this?
Yeah.
And yes, you can.
Absolutely.
We got some hot tips for you.
Yeah. Especially like if you're coming from like New York rent or Chicago rent or LA rent.
Or Miami rent.
Or Miami rent. Or if you live in America rent. Unfortunately. God.
We're naming like all the cities.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
or
right.
Austin
or Dallas rent. Or Denver, San Diego rent. Denver rent. Just Seattle rent. Dude, it just sucks. It's like short-term rentals are almost equal to like year-long stays at this point, which is...
Nowadays. They used to be way more expensive, but I feel like now with how rent is, they've just been weirdly
It's ridiculous.
Leveled.
Anyway, it's like if you look at short-term rentals, it's like, this is almost what I'm paying already. And
because we get a discount.
Oh,
so if you're searching on Airbnb, you get a monthly discount. So like it makes more sense financially half the time to book the full 30 days to get that monthly discount than doing 2 weeks.
So... yeah, generally that's the first question people ask us is, where do you stay? How do you figure that out? And so there's a couple things. So the first one, the obvious one is Airbnb. And it's exactly like Laylee just said, where it's like, it's so expensive on a day-to-day basis, but they give you discounts weekly and even bigger ones monthly. But even with that, state to state, the taxes are different. All the occupancy fees, like that all changes. It's kind of ridiculous, but we live in the United States of America. So states' rights, they get to dictate what that is, right?
Yeah. But I think it's the most expensive still, even with the deals.
For sure.
We'll acknowledge that. But it's also like the most, I don't know, safest, secure. Like, this is a legitimate website.
Right.
Just some sketchy people out there.
No, absolutely. Because we've also used other services which are way cheaper. So what you usually want to do is you want to look for like corporate housing websites. And what those do is they'll allow like monthly stays in places. And they have different, they're usually way cheaper because Airbnb takes a ton of money from the landlords or the hosts, if you will, of the places. So that's why they cost a lot.
It's like a service charge for them too.
Right. So we did use a place called, what was it called in Chicago? What do we use?
Furnish Finder.
Furnish Finder, which is actually one of my friends has a house on that, and that's how we figured it out. It's a great one. It's really cheap. But the thing is like what you're always worried about. So it's like, Airbnb has its own like payment system. So that's the biggest thing you're afraid of is like, I'm going to give you like, let's say just for whatever we're talking about, $1,600 for a month. Okay, well, I don't want you to just steal that money from me, right?
Right.
And that's what Airbnb has, which you should sponsor us, Airbnb.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, so we can travel for free almost.
We'll like review your places and boast about the city.
We'll do whatever you want.
Take
Literally.
Photos.
I'll be your bitch. Whatever you need. On all fours, I'll take those photos. Whatever, Airbnb. God damn, I'm giving you so much money at this point. You're my landlord. But
I know. Yeah, they are.
But anyway, so there's a couple of different ways you can look at it, right? So month stays versus day stays is completely different ball game. Mm-hmm. So keep your windows open. You can look at a million different things, but we generally will do Airbnb. I feel like is what we mostly do. But yeah, the discounts are huge, like $1,000 discounts.
It really helps with making it affordable because again, I feel like people just don't understand how we're actually doing it. So I feel like that's what even made us excited to do this podcast. Like, let's just tell you, you know? Yeah.
There's also the whole other thing where you can just ask your Airbnb host, be like, I'm staying for a month. Would you accept this price? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've never done it, but it is another thing where you can take it offline and just be like, hey, like, what's your just regular email? Let's talk about this outside of Airbnb.
Right.
But, hush, hush, woo.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've never been that risky because I'm just like, we're staying there for a month. What do you mean? We need to know where we're staying.
Yeah. Also, we don't have enough time to like really go back and forth with it.
Right.
But obviously, all right. So that's where we stay. I mean, I don't even have to say, you gotta have a remote job
to do this. Yeah.
Which, just anything without an office, right? So we had a friend that, they were doing TaskRabbit in each city.
Yeah.
They were just like, so you could Uber if you're doing like a road trip, whatever you want, like obviously.
Yeah. But again, obviously like we had that security of we have a job, right. We didn't have to look
corporate.
For one.
No, dope. It was great. Another giant thing to make it cheap.
Is definitely splitting it with someone. So like obviously we have each other that divided by 2, it could be a boyfriend, it could be a friend, sister, whoever you want to do it with. Like I saw these TikTok sisters who were doing it and they were basically doing what we're doing. Like they were going from city to city and staying there for a month and making their pros and cons to see where they were going to live. And they were actually they ended up living in 2 different cities, but it was just someone to like do the journey with.
Wait, you're saying someone else is doing what we're doing? Is there also another podcast out there?
I've never researched it because I don't want to know.
Are you telling me we're not the first?
We're not that original.
Ah, shit. Dang it.
But hopefully we bring some good content to our audience.
Yeah. That is one thing. Remember, I've said this before to you. I was like, this life is crazy that we're living. And I was like, the only way it could be even crazier is if it's like 2 good friends doing it and they're dating in each of these cities.
Right.
Which would be I'm like, what would that be like?
Well, don't tell them what better thing could be out there.
I mean,
anyway,
we're the
2
best. Bros,
we're so fun.
2 gals. Yeah, right. Maybe it's just you're like, man, dating sucks in every city.
It could be that. There you go.
It could be, or it could be just like, I don't know. Who knows? Also, you could get tied down in a city and you're like, shit, this journey stopped short real quick.
Or you somehow convince them to come with you.
Yeah, I doubt it.
That's really big.
Yeah, maybe that's a European thing. I mean, no American's going to do that. They're like, God damn, no, man, I got fucking car note.
Yeah. So get rid of the car note. That's another big one. Don't have a lease.
Don't have a lease.
I don't know, like a reoccurring payment you're doing. So like, with not having a lease, also don't have like a storage unit you're paying for. Like that's such an extra cost that you don't think about.
No, totally. So it's like for me, I always knew I was like ready to like get out of LA. So it was like I barely owned furniture and everywhere I was staying was mostly month to month. So for me, it was really easy because it was like I sold everything I had and I just had my clothes and I put them in my car.
It was a joke how easy it was.
It was so easy.
I've never seen anything like that. It was like we literally packed everything up in the trunk of his car. Like we barely even had anything in like...
There's a little more. But in my little Honda Civic, I had a Honda Accord. I got Honda Accord.
The green dragon.
The green dragon.
No, that was amazing.
You sold everything?
Well, I decided to stay in LA for a year, so don't do what I did.
No.
Because I was paying for rent still, even though I was traveling every other month. So I'm here to tell you, don't do that. Don't do that.
Why? I told her that a million times.
I know, but I wanted it. And I suffered the consequences.
She did. But we didn't split it evenly because obviously I was like, I'm not going to allow that. I go, what's the average studio in LA? I was like, I'll pay that.
Well, that's the pros of sharing it with a boyfriend. If I was sharing with a friend, I would have paid the same thing. Though.
No, society's like built on like having a partner.
Yeah.
Have a roommate. And hopefully it's a roommate you can fuck, you know. Right? That's kind of how it goes. It's like, awesome. This is way better than me and fucking David.
Whatever. But now that I'm officially moved out of LA a year later, I did sell all my furniture because it's like, I'm not going to pay for a storage unit. Like, I want to keep traveling. I don't even know when this is going to end. What's the point of just paying for unlimited storage for IKEA furniture?
No, you don't want to do that. It'll be fine. Sell everything. Why do you need it? Unless you got a mortgage in a house, which then obviously you're probably not listening to us, but you're probably
not our audience.
Unless you're also drinking wine and being like, God damn it, I'm jealous.
Unless you want to sell your house and make a shit ton of money in today's market.
You better do it quick.
And then you want to go remote.
It's funny money, but do it real quick.
But if you don't have a lease, if you don't have furniture, you got to pay storage for.
So, hold on. So then people are probably like, well, then every other month, what's the other month for you then, Will? And Laylee, where do you stay? And here's the thing, is we both come from non-broken homes.
What?
And our parents love us and we love them. And we basically crash at their places.
Crash at their places. We're back, Mom and Dad.
That's it. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
You got rid of us.
Daddy and Mommy.
They're our main
Which is also
address.
So millennial. Yeah, right?
We go there to shower and change our clothes.
That's right. I still do my laundry there. It's great.
And then we go on the next trip.
That's right. That's what we do. Hey, whatever. It's only a couple weeks. You know, they're always happy to see us because we've been across the country for how long? So also, once again, I put it on like I have so much time to make up with them. So that's why I enjoy it. It does get annoying. I'm like, I'm not going to mow the fucking lawn, dude. All right, I'll do it. You're old, man.
Come on.
I get sad. Yeah, what about you?
Provide for them.
Provide for them?
What? I washed all the dishes.
Oh, okay.
But another thing that makes it like, that made it realistically possible last year was like having one of our cars on each side of the country.
Yeah.
So that we would pick the cities. It was essentially like, okay, we're going to Portland. That means Will's flying from Atlanta to LA and then we're driving my car to Portland.
Flying, not frying.
That's what I said.
Okay. Your accent.
Or we're going to Austin. So I'm flying from LA to Atlanta and then we're driving to Austin.
So yeah, we were trying to pick like West or East Coast kind of cities. Right. But you know, that's kind of how it ended up. But then we would go like, we would just Google like how long it takes. And it's like, oh, whatever the shorter hours is, then obviously we'll fly there. And we'll just road trip from one of those cities, right? So it was good. You have a mode of transportation. You need a car, right? Because that's a big thing too. You need where you're gonna live, and you need a car. Yeah. To get around.
So once you have all these things, or you got rid of all these things, then I feel like a big important one that makes it more affordable is like, remember, this is not a vacation. This is where you're living for the month or for the 3 months or whatever it is. And a big thing that comes from that is not eating out all the time. Right. Like, cook your meals. You live there, you know? Yeah. At least Monday through Thursday. Yeah. Like, stay home and cook.
Experience these restaurants, but it's like, I mean, the biggest thing is like usually if like you have a friend that comes into town, and we've had this a couple times, they'll be like, oh, I want to visit you. And then they'll want to just like go out, like they're visiting. And it's like, we live here. Like we like live here. We can't be doing that.
We're like, we're going to eat our dinner and then we'll meet you at the bar.
Right, exactly.
But when it's just us, I feel like we do a good balance of like, we'll go to like happy hour and like definitely have date nights and experience the restaurants, but we also remember like most of our meals should be cooked. Like it's not like every night is an experience, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. We have some good tips and pros and cons under our belt now.
I believe so. What's an obvious pro of this lifestyle?
Okay. Obviously, you get to experience the world. Mm-hmm. That's a given, right?
Once again, America's the world. Now, we're past that, but you know.
We're going to Europe this year. We did Costa Rica. We did Mexico. We're getting out there.
We're going.
Slowly but surely. But yeah, you get to experience cultures. Even within the U.S., every city and its people are so different. Like that is a different culture, even though we're all American, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's like a given, but it's like, remember it is such a pro. Like how many people only know their city? Like even a funny random story is like, remember when we were in Atlanta, we went to that sushi restaurant and that guy that clearly has lived in Atlanta for the last 70 years.
Wait, what did he say? He was like,
this is the best sushi in the world or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my God. So we waited forever and we ate. And we're leaving. Sushi's like, this is the best sushi I've ever had. I was like, you have been in a 5-mile radius your whole fucking life, dude. This place sucks.
Yeah.
This place is terrible. You ain't no shit, man.
Yeah. Or just like right now, all my friends are raving about this Asian restaurant. Oh, and I'm like,
we'll try it out. Yeah.
Where have you been?
Right. And it's like, it's not even like a pretentious thing.
No,
I mean, I know it's coming off as that, but it's more of like.
We eat Taco Bell every other weekend. God.
Keep Taco Bell's name out of your mouth, all right?
And Domino's. Like, we're not pretentious,
Wendy's,
but it's
that
just
4
like.
for 4. Ooh, baby. It's just one of those things. It's like, it'd be like if you heard like just the happy birthday song and you're like, this song is dope. And it's like, yo, there's a world of music out there.
Right.
Like, go experience it.
Right.
That's all we're really getting at.
Yeah. I think it makes us better people.
It makes people better people.
It makes people better people.
Yeah. That's pretentious again. It makes us better people than you.
Okay,
if you didn't pick up on that, we are way better than you. As Laylee said.
We're experiencing the world.
Yeah.
And all it has to
What are you doing, you fat ass? Huh? You just sitting there?
Listening to us. Thank you.
Hopefully, thank you. We love you. Keep eating. Keep enjoying it. Just keep those headphones on and just keep clicking play.
But no, with that, it's also about each city, right? Like, we do really get to experience each city. And, like, that's another pro of, like, we started off with the idea of, like, these are cities we could potentially live in, and how many people get to do that?
Right, for sure. But most people are probably like, okay, I just hear a lot of upside to this, obviously.
Yeah.
What's a downside, Will?
What's a con?
What's a con, Laylee? So one of the things is when you are continuously doing this is there's a lot of planning you got to be doing. And that's another reason why it helps to be doing it with somebody. Like, I can't even imagine doing this by myself because you would burn out real fucking quick.
It's like another job sometimes.
It is. Like
it's a fun job for some of us.
Right. I mean, it's just another thing you got to be aware of because you are like, imagine you had a year lease and you got to move every year. Okay, now we're doing that every month, which it does seem like a lot, and it is a lot. But
it is a lot.
That's the thing. It's like the more you pay, the more reward you get back.
Yeah.
So it is like, think of it like that, right? That's how I like look at it. Just a secondary con to that is like, it is one of those things where you have to tell yourself to stay present and stop looking ahead of like, oh my God, where am I living in the next month or whatever.
Yeah. And I will give you all the credit for that because I feel like I get very like plan. What are we doing? We have to book this. We haven't bought the flights. And like, I remember, I don't know if we've stuck to it that well. I think we have, but you made a rule. We won't plan on the weekends. You know, like on the weekends, we should be enjoying that city. We should be so in the present. We shouldn't be thinking about where we're going next. Like, yes, we have to think about it and we have to plan it, but at least can we not on the weekend, which was great. Like, we need that.
So yeah, another way to make this lifestyle happen is you have to date a Laylee. Because she will take it. She will do it for you. You just help her, you know? It's great. Spectacular.
I just get so carried away.
You do. You're like, it is your thing. You are a travel agent.
I am unfortunately.
I would say in another life, but literally in this life.
Yeah.
And you do it for free for me, and I love it.
You help.
I do. You help. You just patted me on the head. She patted me on the head when she said that.
You help.
You fucking dick.
No, I tell everyone you actually help a lot.
Yeah,
I
because...
don't want to be sexist, but I feel like for a guy,
right.
you help so much.
Right, but the standards of what you're used to hearing are so low.
But you just color-coded our latest Word doc.
Yeah.
And we do have Word docs and spreadsheets and like Google chats where like sending each other back and forth like Airbnb options on. Like you do have to be actively working on this, but so it can be a lot.
It is a lot. What's another pro of this lifestyle? Another
pro with it being a lot though, and you're always moving, is that you're never bored.
Yeah.
It's always new.
Oh, everything.
Right?
Always.
So you're never like, oh, are we going to eat there again? You know? Mm-hmm. It's on you. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if we're only there for a month.
Yeah, what's our rule?
Don't repeat a place until the very last weekend. Mm-hmm. And then we can pick our favorites and do them again.
That's right.
But the first 3 weeks or the first 2.5 months or whatever, depending on how long we're staying, don't repeat a place. And it's awesome. It's an adventure every time. That's a huge pro, right?
Yeah. A con to that, though, is you have to find out where everything is all the time. So where's your local grocery store? Okay, where like stuff is. So like, oh, you need a haircut. You got to figure that one out. Oh, you need a doctor. You got to figure that one out.
Yeah.
As Layla would say, where's a nail salon?
Yeah. Or the Pilates place or the gym, you know.
Yeah, or a gym or, you know, God forbid, a mechanic on your car.
You do have to Google everything or like.
So, yeah, that's like the reverse of that. Everything is new, but you also got to find everything new. And in like a month stay, it's like you figure it all out. And at the end, it's like, okay, now to the next. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, shit. I figured it all out. Yeah. So that is the reverse of that.
Yeah. I like how we're doing good cop, bad cop. So
all right, good cop. Give me another good.
The good cop.
What's some pros?
I mean, an obvious one is like once you do learn where those places are, and like we were saying, if we do want to live in that city, that is the perfect trial run. You know, like these are the restaurants around this neighborhood. These are the bars. Like, do we like the vibe of the city? I feel like you can get it in a month. Mm-hmm. You can definitely get it in 3 months. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, how many people get to do that?
Right.
They stay there for a weekend and then they move across the country if they're brave, you know?
Sure. Yeah. If they are. No, for real. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I think so.
But all the moving around, I feel like brings another con.
It's hard, it's hard to have a routine. You know, there's like literally I used to never make up the bed. Ever. Mm-hmm. And now it's like I fight lately. I'm like, you need something that you can, a repetitive thing that you can do for yourself. It is also, I read a study that it's like, yeah, human beings need repetition, and that's why certain people really need it. Like my mom, like she's got to have her 1, 2, 3, 4 every single day.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
And someone's like, I don't need that. I just need to be, I'm a free flowing spirit. It's like, I'm sure you are, but at the same time, like there is like, there's just gotta be a thing that you can generate, right?
Yeah.
So, that can be something as simple as like
making the bed.
It can be a million things.
Working out.
Like. Yeah,
I feel like it's not impossible. You just have to be like that much more like, I'm gonna do this. Like, even as little as like packing it, like I'll bring my face steamer because I need to have my skincare because like that actually helps me mentally. Or like my collagen so I can put it in my tea every morning.
Right.
Like, it seems like so little, but like you're saying, because we're moving so much, we need little things that feel like home. Right. You know?
And each person you have to figure that out as you go.
Yeah.
Like what makes you like, it's almost like that scene like in Inception where they each have their little piece that like when they come back from into reality, they just have their thing that makes them go, okay, I'm grounded.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it is like, it's crazy. Like this is not normal for human beings as an animal to be doing necessarily.
Oh, I don't know if this is going to take too long, but what's your thing?
What's that?
What do you bring every single time?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's going to take too long. Let's keep going.
Another time.
Yeah.
But a positive to that.
Yeah, for real.
Let's think about it.
No, we see different friends that we normally would never see that moved out of our hometown. So it's like we have friends all over. I mean, most people probably at this point have, you got friends all over the nation that you like, I haven't seen them in forever. You get to hit them up when you're in town. Yeah,
and that's fun. And then you get to hang out with them for a whole month or whatever it is. Like,
or you're like, I kind of hung out with them. They're great, but we never did. It's like now you're like in a new city. And so you're like, I'm going to hit you up like every weekend.
Yeah, and then you hang out and you get closer. Also, they show you around, which is a dope perk.
So fun.
Because you're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to plan what we're doing today.
Like right off the bat, like one of your friends that are like huge part of your little friend group back in Miami, but you never really hung out with, Camille. Like you're like, this is my best friend now forever.
Yeah, Portland was amazing, and a big part was due to her.
Yeah, the very first city. Also, another thing is you make new friends.
Yeah.
Because you're like in a new city, so you can't, like, if you're at your hometown kind of thing or whatever, you're going to hit up the same people.
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad
thing. And
there's
nothing wrong with that. It's not at all. Right. But if you're like in a new city, you're forced to be more social than if you're not. I mean, I'm already like an extrovert, but you just make new friends, and so it's another new thing, right? Which is exciting.
Yeah.
So that's another huge pro.
Just to be bad cop about it, because now we're switching roles. It's just like, it is really great, but it is hard to build a community in such a short period of time. So I think you can make friends, but they're going to be more surface level unless you're there for a longer period.
Right.
Like if you're doing 3 months, I think you can build more of a real connection.
For sure.
But if you're there for a month, it's going to be a little hard. Like, did you meet them weekend 2? You only have 2 more weekends.
Yeah, if you're lucky, right? No, it is hard. Yeah, in the monthly kind of thing, it is hard to kind of build a relationship. So you definitely lose like community in that way.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. It could be church. It could be yoga. It could be
like classes you take.
Classes. It could be fucking
workshops.
Acro, whatever. I'm just thinking LA stuff, but it could be anything. And you don't have enough time to really build that with people and things, because it's like, I feel like let's say you do a dodgeball thing, like. At the very end, everyone's like, you guys want to get drinks? Like, that's when that always happens. I feel like it takes the whole thing, and then you're like, all right, we're never seeing these people again. We've got to make a move. It's like dating in that way.
Oh, another con that just came to mind with that was kind of like, you never get to chill if you're there for a short period of time. It's not a con to traveling. It's just a con to traveling for like too short of a time.
Yeah, true.
Because you have to go. You have to go to that drink. You have to go out this weekend. You have to go to that restaurant. You can't just be like, I want to stay in, because you only have so many days in that city.
Well, you don't have to do any of that, but you just like, for us, it's like, I'm trying to experience this city.
Yeah.
But that's also why we had the time off, to like be like, okay, this is where I'm just hanging out.
Right. Well, that's why we at least wanted a month, so that at least during the week we have some time to chill.
Yeah, we're just chilling. But it is a go, because you're doing things all the time. But that's also who we are. You can just be like, I'm just going to go get dim sum. Yeah. Drink a coffee. And then sit on the porch, just watch people. You can do that. So you might not feel that way, but we we're driven. No,
extroverted, like you said.
Yeah, so we're kind of like, it's the same thing as like how people vacation, right? Some people want to do a million things. Some people just want to lay on the beach, right? So it also could just be who you are, but that's just our experience of like, we don't have chill time.
Yeah. Another thing that maybe doesn't come to mind, but along with like doing classes and stuff like that, and like the stuff you need to build a routine, is you might not have time for hobbies.
Sure.
It's just challenging.
Whatever your hobby is. It's just another skill you kind of like, it's less of you just got to relearn how to do it.
Yeah. And sometimes that means, honestly, like telling your partner or friend that you're doing this with, like, love you, shut up. I need to read my book for an hour, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Or whatever it is. Like, I think you just have to be more aware that you have to make the time.
Yeah. I love how reading is a hobby.
It is a hobby. What is it? Oh, how many people do it? I would love to look up the statistics.
15 people.
Or 50%? No. 15 people out of what?
You think 50% of...
15.
15%. Yeah, that's probably right.
I think 15% of Americans read for pleasure.
Right, for pleasure. And then, but 20% read for pain. I don't know.
I didn't see that coming.
Me neither. That's why I said
You're going to say like education or work.
Well, education
pain.
is pain.
All right.
But anyway, I guess the last pro we'll leave y'all with is if you're ever like at a party and you're doing this nomad life, oh my God, you look so fucking cool.
Yeah.
This is cooler than smoking cigarettes at a party.
Or at work. What do you mean?
At work.
At work.
Oh my God, everyone's so
like,
interested in you, which is so silly. It's like, I'm so boring, but sure.
We always have small talk. We always have a story. It is a good pro. We're living our life.
Yeah, I literally complimented her. I was like, you're so much better at like explaining / saying what we're doing. I'm just like, yeah, I'm homeless. And they're like, what's wrong with this guy? I'm like, I don't know, man.
You didn't follow through with the joke. You gotta give him more. But it does always make for a good story. So we'll be here to tell you more stories.
Live your life. Live it up. This whole podcast, we're going to take you through each city that we went to. We're going to tell you about our experiences with each city. You know, like how good is the food? Mm-hmm. Like how good is the nightlife there? How good is like just the geographical terrain of it?
Do you want to live there? Do you never want to go there?
This is also through the lens of us. But yeah, so that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about.
Come on our journey and cheers.
All right. Until episode 2, y'all. We'll see y'all then.